Good morning. So glad you could join us. Hey, I want to share something I picked up just recently from Jonathan Cahn in his book, Book of Mysteries, which I want to give it a big shout out. I think it's a very interesting book. So the teacher says, behold the Kalah. It's C-A-L-A-H, okay? And it's a Hebrew word for bride. And we talked about it, I think I did it here not too long ago, about the bridegroom's visit, okay? That was the custom. He would come for his bride, and then he would go away to prepare a place for her. If you read John chapter 14, it makes a whole lot more sense if you understand what the Hebrew custom was. And yet she's still here, and the bride, she's the bride, but not yet married. See, to us, you're not the bride until maybe the wedding day. You'd refer to her as the bride to be. But this was a different custom, okay? In the Hebrew wedding, the bridegroom journeys to the house of the bride. Whether it's a house or a tent, and the covenant is made. They are from that moment on considered bride and groom, husband and wife, although they're not actually married. But the bridegroom must then leave the bride and her house and journey back to where he came from, to his father's house. And the two are joined in a covenant of marriage, but they don't see each other until the day of the wedding. They spend their time preparing for that day. But the bride, it seems like nothing's happened, right? Nothing's changed. She still lives in her tent with her family or whoever she lived with, and she's still doing her daily chores. The surroundings are the same. Her life is the same. Then she's married, but what's changed? And the teacher says, well, she's the Kalah. And the student's kind of like, I don't get it. And then he says, here's the deal. 2,000 years ago, the bridegroom, Jesus, journeyed to the house of the bride. He came to earth for us. God journeyed to this world, to our house, to our lives, and likewise, it was to make a covenant. And that's what he talked about at the Last Supper. That's why we receive communion today. According to the mystery, the bridegroom must leave the bride's house and return home. So the Messiah then left the world to return to his dwelling place, his Father's house. So these now are the days of separation. The groom now dwells in his house, heaven, and the bride dwells in her house, this world. So we, the bride, now dwell in this house, this world. So you, in your life, still dwell in the same tent. That which is around you still looks the same and feels the same. Your life, your circumstances may look unchanged. But something very big has changed. You. It's not the tent. It's not the world around you. But you. And if you've come to know Jesus, that resonates with you. It's like something happened. I was just sharing my testimony of what happened in my life 47 years ago. And there was this change, and it was somebody who knew me 47 years ago. Anyway, and thus you are no longer of the world. You're in the world, but you're no longer of the world. You no longer belong to your circumstances. You belong to the groom. You no longer belong to your past. You belong to Jesus. You no longer belong to your sins and limitations. You belong to the Lord. You are no longer bound to such things. You no longer belong to this world. You belong to the bridegroom. You're free. You're the Kalah. And so today, you might look around and say, hey, nothing's really changed. What has my faith got for me? It's like, but there's a day that's coming. And that faith and that belief in the covenant that Jesus has made that no one can break, we can't change it. We can accept or reject it. Accept what Jesus did through the cross, the burial, and the resurrection, and know that you are the bride of Christ. And one day he will come to take you to his Father's house. God bless you. Have a great day.